We have some big news coming in this video, so as always, I'm going to put the timestamps in the description down below. If you guys missed my last video, you may have missed the news that AEW canceled Dark and Dark Elevation. Now people are wondering what the hell is actually going to happen, considering that Tony Khan would pay so many indie wrestlers for work, which obviously was a great thing, especially when you look throughout the pandemic era. Tony Khan did something that a lot of wrestling companies didn't do or couldn't do, which was provide work for people. And you know, here's the thing. AEW has Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision, so it makes sense that they're getting rid of Dark and Dark Elevation. But the thing here that nobody really seems to be talking about is the issue with Ring of Honor. Now, I am not sitting here nitpicking this because I feel like Ring of Honor has actually been pretty damn cool on Honor Club. Honestly, I seem to enjoy it. When ROH is taping from Universal Studios, I feel like the show is great. When ROH is taping at Dynamite, I think that is terrible. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I enjoy the idea of Ring of Honor blending in with the other shows, because at the end of the day, they are ultimately a separate company. Now, Tony Khan has not done that in the sense of treating it as a separate company, and that's completely fine. He can do as he pleases, but at the very least, ROH is a brand that should be separated from AEW. I don't think that's controversial in the sense of anything, because when you look at AEW and what they've done with Dark, for a while, it kind of seemed like Dark and ROH were the same damn thing. The same people were showing up on both shows, and, you know, this is where it gets kind of confusing, because Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select actually dropped a really interesting report, and basically, it was noted that talent being looked at will still get the opportunities, but it will more than likely be in the ROH brand. Now, as far as everybody knows, ROH is not part of this new deal. So basically what's happening is AEW is doing some sort of TV deal with Warner Bros. Discovery, in which all of their content will be exclusive to Warner Bros. Discovery networks. So obviously ROH is on Honor Club. Perhaps the move to YouTube could make a lot of sense there. I'm not sure if Tony Khan gets away from doing Honor Club. But at the end of the day, what's going to end up happening here is that AEW, all of their content are going to be on TNT, TBS, maybe even True TV. And Warner Brothers Discovery does not want, at this current time, they do not want ROH part of that deal. Okay, that's a lot to digest, but at the very least, if ROH is going to become essentially the new Dark, right? And it's giving indie talent an opportunity to work, I'm cool with that. If they are going to use this as a way for people to just constantly lose, I'm not cool with that. If you want to bring in indie talent, I know it's hard to invest in them long term when you're not signing full-time deals, but at the very least, can you not have them constantly lose just to put somebody else over? I don't want to see ROH get into this position where it is constantly a 2-hour show where it's just a whole bunch of matches and that's it. And one of the cool things about ROH thus far, and it's not consistent, obviously, but for the most part, they've actually been working on developing stories and stuff like that, too. So I feel like AEW is in a tough spot. I feel like Tony Khan has a lot going on. It's not like the WWE where they have a team of writers for each show and, you know, things like that. Obviously, WWE has a writing team that works across the board, but WWE has a ton of people that help oil the machine. Tony Khan has quite a few people that work with him, but in terms of actually booking and writing the show, it still appears that Tony Khan is the one with the final decision. I feel like Tony Khan, what he needs to do is focus on Dynamite. Focus on Dynamite being the premier show, and then you have Rampage, you have Collision. I think you need to start having people help out with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with being the final say, but having people come out and help him book the shows. Because ultimately what this is going to do, at the very least, if you have somebody write ROH separate from Tony Khan, you can use Ring of Honor as a feeder system. I don't know why so many people are against this. The idea that ROH can be a feeder system to help develop, craft talent to the future of AEW, Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision would be a tremendous move, and I do at some point believe AEW will do it, but every time I say that, people give me a lot of shit for it, and I still stay firm on that. Guys, I want to turn my attention to some very weird WWE news. No blood on social media. Okay, obviously this is something that we all got to take from, with a grain of salt. But Brian Alvarez was talking about this on his show or whatever. And basically what he was saying is that there were two segments on the show where obviously people were covered in blood. Now he says apparently there is a new rule in the WWE that WWE talent are not allowed to take pictures of their injuries, and there is an absolute, you are not allowed to take pictures of any blood whatsoever. Now, as somebody who does not care for blood in pro wrestling, I'm not against it. I just think blood sometimes adds sometimes it could be an element that's good, right? We've seen time and time again where somebody gets all bloodied up from a really, really crazy long match. It makes some sense to add to the emotion of the show. So I've never been one of those guys that's like 100% against blood. I am just one of those people that have always believed, I don't know if it's necessary to be done all the time, right? So again, I'm not against it. I'm not necessarily for it. I'm just kind of very meh about it. But that's weird that WWE would have some sort of rule where wrestlers cannot post photos of their injuries. JC Jane was just bloodied up on NXT, okay? I don't know the idea that WWE I don't know if WWE realizes here, like, shit happens, right? It's a sport. We've seen basketball players get bloodied up. We've seen football players get bloodied up. We see MMA get bloodied up. WWE is under endeavor. I don't know who's making this call, but if this is legit, I just feel like it's kind of strange, you know? And at the end of the day, some people, I mean, look at Becky Lynch, right? Becky Lynch breaking her nose or whatever, getting injured from Nia Jax. I mean, that literally turned into the thing that really took Becky Lynch to the whole next level. It took her to such a different level. So I'm not saying, you know, okay, on TV, if you don't want them to bleed on purpose and stuff like that, I get it. I get it. You don't want to piss off advertisers and stuff. But at the same time, too, it's like social media. I just don't really see the purpose of this, if that makes sense. I don't know if this is a Vince decision, Triple H decision, Endeavor decision. I don't know if this is like USA Network and Fox coming together and being like, listen, guys, like, we don't want this. But I just feel like it's foolishness, in all honesty. Let's go to something a little bit more positive. WWE has announced the official signing of Olympic gold medalist Tamira Mensah-Stock. If you guys don't remember her, she was at WWE, I think it was 2021 SummerSlam, if I can remember correctly. Anyways, she won the gold medal in wrestling in not in WWE, at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. She obviously, we've seen her on WWE television before. WWE obviously brought in Gable Steveson. Not really panned out. Nothing really happened with him. Obviously, things didn't work out. WWE did not feel, according to the reports, they didn't feel comfortable with putting him on TV. They didn't feel like he was ready. On the other side of things, though, WWE has brought in Tamira Mensah-Stock. And guys, here's the cool thing. You know, she's the first black woman to win gold in freestyle wrestling. Okay? So she's a history maker. In addition to being a history maker, there's a lot of people who are talking about her. I'm not saying this is the most high-profile signing, but I feel like it is cool to see WWE bring in Olympic gold medalists into the company. We have seen quite a few Olympic athletes join the WWE, and they actually panned out. I also think bringing in a legitimate badass into the WWE women's division could be a very good thing. Also, at the same time, too, I don't want to see another Gable Steveson situation. I don't. She has been very optimistic. She's a lifelong fan. She's been very open about her desire to be in WWE. I'm happy WWE made this signing. And I'm just glad to see that WWE's hiring hiring freeze, right? Everybody keeps saying there's a hiring freeze. I'm glad that's not the case. I'm glad there is no hiring freeze. Now, for whatever reason, Jay White, this person, that person, Tamatonga, it doesn't matter. WWE obviously didn't sign some people, but we've been convinced that there's a hiring freeze going on. That doesn't actually appear to be the case here. WWE has brought in former WWE stars working in WWE. They brought in Tamira Mensah-Stock. I think WWE is going to be very particular with who they sign to the company, as they should be. You can't just sign everybody, or you shouldn't just sign everybody just for the sake of signing them. But ultimately, I look forward to seeing what she does. I hope everything works out for her. I'm excited to see what WWE can do with her. Will it be any different than Gable Steveson? Obviously, that's the big comparison, because Gable Steveson was hyped up like crazy, and obviously it didn't work out. But I actually feel pretty optimistic about this signing. I think it should be good. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.